All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we give an update on the blizzard that hit the motherland here in New Jersey. We talk about the recent Epstein files drop, the latest drop of files, and we get into a little bit of Yankees updates, which, let's be honest, wasn't really that, actual updates. It was fake updates. And then I share a little bit of victory for everybody in the Junction. Another war, another win for the LPDS. All of that, plus the Cage fact coming at you right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, a show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything and have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Let me tell you something. We got snow. I posted the Bone Crushers guest episode, Tribal Fig Chief episode on last Sunday. And the week we filmed that one, it was 3 days of snow. The next weekend, this past weekend, right after I posted, we got 21 and a half inches of snow here in the motherland, in the dungeon area. It was 3 separate rounds of snow blowing the driveway and the front porch and the sidewalk and everything like that. Absolutely brutal. Luckily, the snow was at least light. But let me tell you something. When I was finished with the bottom half of the driveway and working on the top half, the hill of the driveway here, the bottom half already had an inch of snow right on top of it immediately. It was just, don't look, if you're rich, get a house in the South for the winter. This is stupid. It's really stupid. Not to mention the fact that by time Monday morning came, it was all day Sunday into the night. And then a tiny bit Monday morning. It was just a dusting, really, Monday morning. So I went out Monday for a final, clearing of the driveway and then moved my parents' cars into the driveway. My parents parked at the top of the house in front, up there's the front yard is a hill, so up the hill by the road and the mailbox there's like a gravel flat area at the top where they park their cars during snow time so that we can shovel and plow the driveway a little bit easier. And then in case they need to get out, usually, obviously, the snow is never that bad. They can get out that way instead of having to go up the hill of the unshoveled driveway. So they're up there, but we're talking not only 21 and a half inches of snow, we're talking the snow plows that came through to plow the roads, boxed them in like a old timey Civil War berm. I think that was probably almost 4 feet high and probably about 2 feet thick, 2 feet inland, if you will, off the road. So I had to shovel that out to clear the driveway out. And then I had to shovel another area like that out to get the cars out. And then we get my dad's car out. And we try to get my mom's car out. Now she has a pickup truck, Chevy Colorado, not bad. What we didn't know, because Crazy Carol doesn't pay attention to vehicle maintenance stuff very well. She admits that. Randy, stop licking, buddy. She admits that. That's fine. That's her, whatever. We're the ones who have to check to make sure the brakes are still good and all that stuff. Well, Her tires were bald as shit. So when I dug her out, I dug her car out and tried to get it out of the of that area because there was still snow underneath, even just a small amount, the tires just skidded. And we put it in four-wheel drive, skid. Traction control, skid. Four low, skid, nothing. In fact, because it was skidding and skating on the snow, which became basically an ice rink for it, it started sliding down the hill towards the house, which is no bueno. There's nothing I wanted to deal with less than driving a car into the house situation like everyone was Raymond. So we had to spend another few hours. We put salt underneath to kind of melt that ice to get to the gravel part, to get some friction in there. Waited a little bit, still nothing. Finally, we found some pieces of wood plank, like 2x4s, a bunch of them to put underneath the tires to get some movement. Long story longer, we finally got the car out. I started shoveling Monday morning at about probably like 11 a.m. I did some work in the morning, ate some breakfast, and then went out there to see. I thought it was going to be 30 minutes tops to do the driveway because there was only about 2 inches left at that point. I got done at 4 p.m. digging out the trenches and getting the car out and getting it back in. But we got it. We did it. And she got new tires. We immediately called the next day and said, hey, to the tire, the auto mechanic up here, that's pretty reputable. Listen, we need new tires ASAP. This lady can't go driving around in adverse weather like this. This is unbelievable. So we got her new tires and she's good to go. Now, apparently, at the time of this recording, tomorrow is supposed to be another storm coming in. This is the bomb cyclone. Every year there's got to be a bomb cyclone that the local weathermen have to, jack off to. Bomb cyclone. This is supposedly it, but there's a decent chance, I guess, it stays off the coast and we don't get snow. I'm hoping, because I just don't want to deal with it. This is my last week here. There'll be one more episode from the dungeon down here, and then we'll be back at the LPDS compound in Texas. My old man's driving down with me. Friday, Saturday, Super Bowl Sunday, we'll hang out, and then he's flying back home Monday, the next day. So only, this episode and one more from here. I don't want any more snow. I can't afford it. Okay? I wasted days of work, days of spearhead leadership stuff, days of exercise. And I mean, I'm getting a good workout, shoveling snow and whatever, but damn it, I'm so tired of this crap. I just can't wait to be rich, because then we're just paying for it to get done. In fact, I may even go as far as totally redoing their driveway and putting like the heat coils in a new concrete driveway so that they can just turn the heat on and it'll melt the snow itself. I may just do that. I don't know. We're going to have to get a lot of spearhead clients and really grow the YouTube page and all that, but we'll get there. That's part of the goal now, because it was unbelievable. Anyway, I will say this, another silver lining, as I try to find the good in things and the positive in things. One more good thing I noticed with the snow, two more good things actually. One was the exercise. For a healthy person, going out there and shoveling snow gets your heart rate up, you're burning calories. It's a good workout in that regard. If you're using good form and all that stuff, you're not hurting your back or whatever. If you're older and unhealthy, don't do it, you're gonna get a heart attack. But there was good exercise in there. I burned a lot of calories, got a lot of steps in, got my heart rate up significantly to burn some more, some fat, because I'm feeling fat still. I'm still not done with the cookies and the pastries here, and I'm just a fatso, and I feel terrible about it. I can't wait to get back to the gym in Houston and just start cutting and getting ready for Italy in June. I got to get financially ready as well, but that's the goal for that. So that wasn't bad. I use that as a silver lining. The other thing I will say I did enjoy was, with this particular blizzard that we got, we got we got we got trenches we got to dig. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm a trench guy. And if this is the first time you're hearing this, welcome to the party, pal. But for all those returning listeners and viewers out there, I sound like a broken record. I know it, but I love a good trench, and being able and you can. I wish I took pictures when the snow was fresh, because it kind of tapered off a little bit. It's so cold here now that it's freezing away. It's like freezing, evaporating the snow, if you can believe that. So it doesn't look as impressive anymore, but I was I was shoveling pathways from the front door up to the mailbox so we can walk. I had to shovel pathway trenches for the dogs because the snow was too high for them to walk in there and then take dumpies. So we had to create little veiny trenches throughout the snow, throughout the yard and everything in the woods so they could go take dumpies. And there was just excuse me, there was just something about digging trenches and being in the trenches. I just felt at home. I wish it was a little warmer. I wish there was some, firefighting going on. I wish the pals, the fellas were here and we were sitting in these trenches ripping unfiltered Lucky Strike heaters with, a picture of our gal strapped into our helmets. And then every once in a while we get up, pop off a few rounds, toss a grenade out there, and then we're back in the trenches with the gang again. That's what I wish it was like. But I did my own little, visualization of that. I used the shovel as a gun and had a good time on myself like a absolute psychopath. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Hope everybody else had a better snow experience recently. Sorry, we all had to deal with it up here if you're living up in these parts. Anyway, moving on, real quick. Tinfoil hat. Oh, two tinfoil hat things. One is very new to me. I just want to put it out there in the ether to get people to start doing their own digging on it. But apparently, with this upcoming bomb cyclone malarkey and last week's blizzard, there is a conspiracy out there saying that the reason why they manufactured the weather, because there's a whole gang of folks that believe that just because we are able to create weather, there are actual weather machines. Dubai has the rain machine out there that rains every day at 3 p.m. or whatever it is. There are people out there who think that all weather is controlled. It's all manufactured and there's no natural weather anymore. That's a little kooky for me. But people were saying that these snowstorms, these blizzards and winter storms were manufactured here, specifically on the East Coast, because this, what they're calling a Leviathan, which is frozen off the coast of Virginia, New Jersey, was starting to melt and come alive. And they had to hit them with these storms to freeze them out again so it doesn't come alive and terrorize us like Godzilla. You guys got to go look it up. What they're doing is, if you look at the way on like Google Maps or just photographs, satellite photos of the Earth in that area, and down by Antarctica, apparently there's the Leviathan down there too. But the way that the islands are situated and the way the water kind of flows through those parts of the islands and the areas there, it makes it look like it looks like some sort of dragon head or big dinosaur animal head, like a demon head. And that's what they're saying. It's like, no, it's not your eyes playing tricks on you. That's an actual frozen demon animal called a Leviathan. And when it gets unfrozen, like Megatron and Transformers, when it unfreezes and comes alive, we're all in big, big trouble. And they needed these storms to hit to keep them frozen, because we had the blizzard hit, and then it's been single-digit degrees all week, and now we have another bomb cyclone coming to hit again to keep it frozen. That's all I know about it. There's not a lot of information out there on it. There's not a lot of different pictures or any sort of historical evidence to even go back to why this story started. So I'm gonna keep doing digging on it. I encourage you, if you're looking for a laugh or something fun and silly and stupid to entertain yourself with, go look up the Virginia, coast of Virginia Leviathan, and then the Antarctic one as well. Very funny stuff. Anyway, next tinfoil hat thingy. I have to talk about it very quickly. More Epstein files were released. Thousands, I think I said millions of pages of documents, thousands of videos and images were recently released by the Department of Justice. The same Department of Justice that months earlier was trying to tell us there was no files. What are you talking about, files? There are no files. So those have been released. People are digging through those. Social media is going crazy with that, trying to find their enemies in the file so they can use it against them. Here's again, I always go back to my thing to a kind reminder, especially for new listeners out there. I don't care if you're my best friend, if you're Nic Cage himself, if you're in those files as a perpetrator of child sex trafficking or pedophilia or any sort of rape or abuse or anything like that, if you're in there and there's actual evidence to suggest that you've done this stuff, you're dead to me. You're not only dead to me, I want public executions. I want guillotines. I want you castrated in public, and then I want you to serve at least a year in prison castrated, getting your own brand of swift justice served onto you before you get executed. Okay? Anybody who messes with kids like that and ruins lives like that for any reason whatsoever, I want zero mercy. I don't know if I'll ever be mature enough or morally enlightened enough to be able to forgive that sort of behavior. I just can't do it. If you do that stuff to kids, I don't care if you have a mental disease or whatever excuse you're going to use. Public hanging, public castration, the works. So I don't like people are going there looking for specific guys. The Democrats and the liberals are looking for Trumpy Bear's name, and the conservatives are looking for liberal names, and they're, oh, we got him. See, we told you. It's like, I don't care what you are. If you're in there, it's not good. And if it's known that you're doing stuff, you're done for. Like Bill Gates. Bill Gates has been in there a billion times already with him and Bill Clinton and Hillary too. They had the whole thing about Bill Gates recently that just came out that he had a Russian whore that Jeffy gave him, trafficked over to him, and then he got an STD and he was begging for antibiotics for this STD and then trying to get antibiotics and drugs to sneak to his wife so that she doesn't ever get it herself and find out that he's been screwing around with Russian whores. Crazy. And then when Jeffy, of all people, said, I don't want to hang out with this guy anymore, Bill Gates got pissed at him and banned him from Xbox and said that he was abusing people on Xbox and trolling and this and that, and he's no longer allowed on Xbox Live. That was his revenge. But the CEO, the current CEO of Microsoft was named in there for shit. You got Elon, you got Trumpy, you got Clintons, you got Zohran Mamdani's parents are in there. Everybody is in this recent dump. Robin Leach, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Robin Leach is in there. It's just nuts that nothing has gotten done about this crap yet. I saw a thing that somebody said if Bill Gates is willing to drug his own wife secretly without her knowing, what do you think he's putting in those vaccines he's pushing to the rest of the world? Do you trust him with that? And I thought that was actually a pretty valid point, especially when the guy is not a doctor. He's not a medical professional. He is the definition of a movie supervillain. Rich billionaire dipping his wick in things he has no business dipping his wick in for population control. And he said it out loud. This is not a theory. He said it on TED Talks. He said it on TV and news. He said it, basically two things constantly. He literally wrote the book. It's a real book. He literally wrote the book on how to lie with statistics. And then the next thing he cares about is population control. And he's dealing with the vaccines he's pushing. He's working, he's funding labs to create these drugs that he's saying are vaccines. So it's really giving actual vaccines a bad rep, some of the good ones. And he's dealing with lab created meats that he wants created by chemists in a lab for population control. That's a super villain. I'm using my billions to create things in a lab, like a mad scientist. He's not even a scientist, he's a computer guy. To go control the population and dominate the world. That is a super villain. And if he combines forces with a guy like Bezos or a guy like Elon who was also doing space travel stuff, I mean, that's a Batman supervillain. I mean, what are we talking about here? That's Lex Luthor. Is it Lex Luthor or Luger? I always get them mixed up because there's Lex Luger, the wrestler. Big fan of his. But this is a Superman, Batman, DC Marvel supervillain. Textbook. It's crazy that people are just actually still like that guy and donate to his foundation. Anyway, which is a money laundering scheme, by the way. That's another tinfoil hat thing. I'll get into it at a different time. But anyway, go check out more Epstein stuff. I'm always going to talk about it. You know this. Anytime I can help spread the word to bring justice to this, the one of the worst intelligence operation, blackmailing, sex trafficking operations in modern history. If I can bring light to it and we can bring justice, that's all I care about. Moving on. Speaking of justice, really no justice, honestly. The Yankees social media pages have been making a big stink about finally re-signing Cody Bellinger. Now, I have a lot of problems with this. I don't dislike Bellinger. Well, I'll say that right off the bat. I'm happy they got him back because he's not bad. But he's not Aaron Judge. And the fact that the big deal in the offseason for the Yankees was just keeping a guy around that they already had on the team who was still not even the top 5 best on the team that year. What are we doing? And for days after he re-signed, for in my opinion, still too much money for him, the Yankees social media pages and websites was pushing out, Belly's back, Bellinger back, we got Belly back, welcome back, Belly, yeah, and all the stupid, retarded, stupid, fatso Yankee fans are out there, oh my God, we got him back, we did it. It's like, what are you talking about? We already had him. This is not Aaron Judge. This is not a generational talent, the best in the league we're talking. We're talking about a guy who might be slightly better than Brett Gardner. That's it. He hits more home runs. He's a better fielder. He's more versatile in the field than Brett Gardner, and he's a slightly more consistent hitter than Brett Gardner. That's what they signed. That's what they got back. And there's nobody new. They're running back the same team. And I don't want to hear about, I heard people saying, Creature was telling me how analysts and commentators were saying, well, they have Caballero and some of these other guys that they got last year at the trade deadline at the end of July. So they'll have a full season. So it's kind of technically a new team because they weren't around the whole season. Like, what are you talking about? What kind of mental gymnastics are you trying to pull to convince us that they did anything of significance in this offseason? They're running it back with the same team. No coverage, no protection whatsoever for Judge, nothing to compliment him whatsoever, just expecting him to do it all, expecting him to have generational level seasons, career highlight reel seasons every single season, and praying for no injuries. Also, they're expecting Garrett Cole to come back in Cy Young form after another season-ending surgery that he had last year. That's what they're bringing back. They're bringing back hope. And we all know the truth. It's not that they're bringing back hope. It's not that they believe they have a World Series contending team. Cashin doesn't care. He only cares about being just good enough to make the playoffs because that's where he gets his money and that's where he can convince all the other idiots out there, hey, the playoffs is a crapshoot, so all we care about is making the playoffs, and then from there, we'll see what happens. It doesn't matter how good your team is. It's a complete crapshoot. And we all know what a crock of shit that is. So, yes, I'm happy that they got Bellinger back because if they didn't get him back, they had no way of filling that gap. They didn't do anything in the background to fill the gap whatsoever. So they needed him back to fill the hole that they were creating for themselves. That's all they did. They dug a hole and then they patched it back up again. That's it. They didn't create a foundation. They didn't add any new planks or concrete beams or nothing to make this team better and stronger whatsoever. So get excited, folks. Get excited for this season because if you like to hear angry commentary and you're tired of the boring boobs on TV that constantly broadcast games in the same fake, lying, positive light to try to make you think the team is good and they're not allowed to say anything negative or critical of the team, they have to dance around it constantly. Well, if you're tired of that, get ready because the LPDS Yankee streams are going to be electric. At the very least, you'll get a good laugh about it. Even if when I say stupid stuff that actually doesn't make sense baseball-wise, because I know I'm going to get heated enough to just start flapping my gills and going crazy on it. So look forward to that. That's all I got to say about that. Anyway, moving on. Let's just get into the good stuff here, because I am very excited about the Junction. So let's get into the good stuff. Let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Vegetable Fingers. Are you trying to eat healthier or trying to get your kid to eat their veggies but don't want to threaten them with starvation if they don't eat their broccoli like good parents used to do? Then get yourself a bag of Veggie Fingers today. Veggie Fingers are a delightful medley of not quite expired grocery store vegetables that are breaded, fried, then frozen solid and ready for you to microwave in seconds. From asparagus fingies to Brussels sprout fingies to broccoli fingies, simply heat them up, dunk them in the most disgusting ranch sauce you can get your grubby hands on, and finally enjoy a healthy diet for once in your miserable fat lives. So to grab a bag of Veggie Fingers today, visit the frozen food section of your local 7-Eleven, and if you use the promo code FINGERME, you'll get 29% off your first pack. This is a gold mine. Okay? I know they have like zucchini sticks, fried zucchini and things like that, but I have to believe this is the gold mine in fried foods. Breading it like a chicken tendy. Breading it like fried chicken. I don't know why more people haven't done this with more stuff. If I had any sort of capital at all, I'd be testing this out in the kitchen and starting and selling it to food brands immediately. I don't know. This is an absolute gold. You can literally finger any food. You can take anything and bread it like a chicken tendy and serve it up, and it will be good. Anything. You can't convince me otherwise. They did it with, look at eggplant parmesan. That's a great example. If they just made that in long, slender, fingy-like shapes of eggplant, boom, eggplant fingies. Carrots. Carrots are easier to eat. Carrots and celery, the stuff that you can eat cold like that, right off, right out of the ground, if you will. That's probably, you don't really need to do that, but you can literally finger any food. I don't know why no one else is doing this right now besides Tony Rigatoni. Anyway, the Cage fact. We talked about this maybe this like the second or third Cage fact into the Cage segment. It was an early one. We talked about the comic book, the Superman comic book that he had from Action Comics that was like published in 1938. There's only about 100 left, and how it was stolen from him, and it showed up in an abandoned storage facility like 11 years later, and he got it back. Well, he sold that about a year later, 6 months to a year after he got it back. He bought it for $150,000. It was stolen. 11 years later, he got it back, and he sold it for $2.2 million. Now, fast forward to now, this past week or 3 weeks ago or something like that, something recently, it was just sold again in a private auction to an anonymous bidder for $15 million. And they're saying that the thievery of the comic book, of that particular book itself, is what is ramping up the value of it. It's still a highly valuable comic book because of the quality and the edition and the fact that there's only about 100 left. And it was like the first Superman comic book ever kind of thing, which paved the way for all the other superheroes in the universe, the DC universe. So it was already valuable, but they're comparing it to what happened with the Mona Lisa. Now, the Mona Lisa was just a nice Da Vinci painting, and then it was stolen. And it sat under a guy's bed, I think under his mattress, the thief, for like 2 years. And when they got it back, it became the #1 piece of art in the history of art, simply because of the fact that it was almost gone. It was stolen, almost gone for good. So, because that happened to this comic book, and it was 11 years gone, the Mona Lisa was only gone for like 2 years, something like that, before they found it under Rip Van Winkle's bed. This was 11 years. And he leveraged it back in the day because he needed the money because of the tax stuff. But it's now worth $15 million for a little book, a couple pieces of paper. So, the Nic Cage effect is strong. Okay, and if you don't give him at least a little credit for that, you're just a hater. You're just a stupid hater, and we don't have any room here for haters in the LPDS. But there you go. That's the Cage fact. You're welcome. Moving over to the Junction and spin the logo up. I have an announcement. And the only reason why I didn't put it out as an emergency press conference announcement is because I don't have my Victory Red tank top, my guinea tee. I forgot it. I honestly wasn't expecting any sort of campaign victory to happen in this timeline. Now we're going to rewind back the clock a little bit. And before I left in December for the dungeon, I don't even remember how long ago this started. October, November, maybe? I told you about a little issue I was having with the government, the defense finance system, the defense finance team, Department of Defense, Department of War, whatever you want to call it now, over penalty charges, interest, and administration fees on an incorrect payment that I was mistakenly paid out and I was trying to return. Do you guys remember that? Do you remember when I said I went off? I think I went off for like 2 episodes straight about it. Not maybe not straight, but I got updates and I was still going off because these bastards incorrectly paid me out, and I was the one who volunteered the correction to them to be a good person and let them know, hey, you accidentally paid me this money. They're like, okay, no problem, send it back. I sent it back, and they're like, oh, by the way, we're charging you processing administration fees plus interest. So you owe an extra $17 to $22 or whatever it was. And I said, no, I don't. And I argued with them. I talked to 3 or 4 different people. And they all said the same thing. Yeah, I agree, you shouldn't have to pay it, but it's our policy, so we can't change the policy. Even though it's our policy that we created, we can't change it, even though it's self-created, and the only person who can change it is us, and we're not going to change it. So we're going to get that money one way or the other. Remember the one lady, she threatened to send collections on me, debt collectors, and then threatened to garnish my wages? That nut job, I think her name was Pat. I remember you, Pat. Well, I get a call from this guy. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going out of timeline here. My apologies. I get an email 2 weeks ago that I have a new credit alert. I was like, oh great. I'm already financially strapped right now as it is. I look at my credit alert and it said, oh, you have a debt that's over 90 days past due. Didn't say how many days, but it's over 90. I was like, of course I do. Why, I knew what it was. I had a feeling I knew what it was because everything else I pay off on time immediately. So I figured it was this, and I looked, and sure as shit, there's this unpaid debt of $17.82, whatever it was. It was less than $25. And it dumped my credit score down over 200 points. Okay? So let me put that into perspective for you. I went from a credit score that would get me the lowest interest rate possible on any loan, any car purchase, any lease, anything, without a cosigner. Okay? Down to I can't even get approved for a credit card or an EBT card or nothing because of this $17. And I had people coming at me. I told everybody ahead of time. I know people are going to come at me and tell me to just pay the money and then fight it after the fact. Don't be stupid. Just pay them. And I wouldn't pay them. I wasn't going to do it. I was going to die for that $17. I was going to be kicked out of my home. They can take my home. They can take my car. And me and Randy will figure it out, and we'll live in a box. We'll push a shopping cart back up here to the dungeon and live out our days here before we pay more money to the government that we don't owe them. That they're already stealing thousands of us from taxes. I just saw a thing, by the way, when we got my mom's tires. My mom, what are we doing here? They've been watching The Crown, my mom and father. I did it again. My parents have been watching The Crown, so we hear them call them mummy and mum. So I apologize for that. We just got her new tires, and on the invoice itself was a state tire tax. That's not the sales tax. There was the sales tax tacked onto it, and then there's a New Jersey state tire tax. Because the tires wear out the road, and we had to repair the roads and this and that. They're not repairing the roads, by the way. The roads are shit up here because they take the money and pocket it. But they're already stealing all of our hard-earned money as it is. You think I want to give a single cent more? Or even pay it and then fight it and then hope I get it back? I'm not getting that back. They're not giving me that money back. What are you, nuts? And I don't care that it's $17. I don't care that that money won't even fill up my gas tank these days or buy even an eighth of the groceries that I need. I don't give a shit. I didn't give a shit then. I didn't give a shit now. I wasn't paying it. And I got hate. I got people texting me, DMing me, messaging the hotline number. Anytime I saw them in person, several people who I'm not mad at. I get why they were doing it, but just don't be stupid. Just pay it. You're going to ruin your credit and your life. Just pay it. And I told them I'm not doing it. They will not win this one. I don't care if it's for 6 cents. I built this trench with my bare hands and I will die in this trench. And I'll be goddamned if the LPDS is going to be intimidated or muscled by anybody. We will never back down when we are right. When we know we're right, we're never backing down. So I call him up. And what did you know what? I got a nice guy named Ralph or Gary. I forgot his name. And I said, Ralph, listen, here's the situation. I've already submitted the inquiry to you guys with no update yet. This money is still shown as a debt. Nobody's responded to this damn inquiry. I don't even know if anyone's read it. And my credit is tanking over the $17. And the first thing Ralph told me, and he said, listen, he goes, I think I know the answer already, but you can pay it off, and then when the inquiry comes back, they can reimburse you for the money. And I said, listen, Gary, I know you're just doing your job, and this is not your policy, this is not your fight, you're just the messenger that I happened to pick up the phone when the enemy called you. Because we are the enemy of them right now. I said, but there is no way in hell I'm paying your organization a penny more than what is actually owed. And I already paid that debt off. And I fixed your mistake. So there is no way I'm paying that. I said, I will die with a 2 credit score before I ever consider paying that back. He's like, okay, let me see what I can do. Gary comes back and he says, listen, here's what usually happens. We're never going to come after you for this amount of money. He's like, it doesn't scratch the surface. We would be spending 100 times more to send collectors out to get you or garnish your wages for this money. This is just going to sit there. And it'll die. Like everybody in the organization, the defense finance organization, will retire and die before anyone else sees this and realizes, why is this debt still not paid? Nobody's going to care. But it's screwing your credit score. You're the only one who keeps getting punished for this. And I said, you're goddamn right, Ralph. So what can we do here? I said, come over to this side of the trench. This is a winner's trench. I built it plank by plank, dirt pile by dirt pile. This is a winner's trench. This is as sound as they come, this trench. We have a 900 batting average, a victory average in this trench. We don't lose here. Come on over, Gary. Come on over and let's win this thing. And I flipped Gary. I fucking flipped him. And what did Gary do? He went over to his supervisor and he told him the situation. And his supervisor gave him the thumbs up in defeat, I would call it. He relinquished. And they removed the $17.82 debt. And they immediately called the credit bureau. And Ralph was on the line. I had a Ralph calling while I was still on the line to verify this. and they wiped it off my record. So it's not that I paid it off, it's that it never existed. The debt never existed, and my credit report is squeaky clean again. Now, this is a message to everybody out there who doubts the LPDS. Don't you ever doubt us again. This is all we do. Okay? You thought we were going to lose this one because we were going against a Goliath, a Leviathan in the government finance world who will send the IRS out to raid your house if you don't pay your $8 in taxes that year. There's no way you're going to win this one. You have to stop. What is it going to take for you to stop doubting the LPDS? This is what we do. We silence the doubters. This is all I was born to do in my life. And you can ask anybody who has known me for more than an hour. From friends to family members to old coaches and players and co-workers and childhood friends and everything. I wasn't born to be a celebrity, a big-time actor. I wasn't born to be the Aaron Judge, the next Aaron Judge, top-tier athlete. I wasn't even born to be president. I was born to silence the doubters. And I can't say it enough. If you doubt the LPDS, you picked the wrong side. We don't lose here. When we go to war, we know we're going to win. We're not like the government or any government all across the world these days where they just throw out their bodies, their soldiers, to go get killed for whatever. Hey, we'll try out war, see what happens. 20 years later in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we retreat with our tail between our legs. That's not what we do here. We go to war as a last resort when we know we're going to win because we're the best at what we do, because we were born to silence doubters. And if you think you're going to wrong us and get away with it, you better think again. So for everybody out there who is an avid listener, take a look in the mirror. Take a deep breath. Set your ego off to the side. Put it on the toilet seat. And then ask yourself, why do I keep doubting this man? I have been a listener for years. Basically, everybody who listens has been here from the beginning. I know his track record. I know the track record of the LPDS. Better than any country, any empire in the history of humankind. They just don't lose. The LPDS doesn't lose. Why did I doubt him again? Why did I think that this was going to be any different? And I'm not mad at you. I love you guys still. I want you still sticking around in the LPDS universe. But a tip of the cap would be appreciated. Because I don't know how many more times we have to prove to the doubters out there that you're picking the wrong side. I tried to tell you months ago. I predicted this was going to be over a year-long situation because the government and the way things run, plus the government shutdown, plus future shutdowns, plus the fact that they're all inept and all the smart ones are doing evil things, that this was going to be forever. But this is what unrelenting work ethic and effort and fight will get you. Victory. You prepare, you train, you analyze the situation, you come up with a plan, and you attack, and you attack, and you don't stop coming until they're down for the count. We're collecting souls over here at the LPDS. I've been trying to tell you that for years. And we're adding another one to the trophy case back here. This soul says $17.82 from DFAS. And the victory feels as good as if it were $1 million. And it always will. Because there's nothing I like better than winning a war. We're trench guys here at the LPDS. So I am a trench guy. This is a trench show. We live in the trenches. This is where we were born. This is where we exist. Everything about us is trench fortified. And when any other entity comes at us, property managers with gates, insurance people, crazy neighbors, intruders, big government financial departments. They think they're going to bully us around because they bully everybody else. But once they jump in this trench, they've already lost. And it doesn't matter if it takes an hour, if it takes a day, a week, a month. I don't care if it took 20 years. You don't think I got the chops and got what it takes? 14 of my years, all 14 of my years in the military were spent in the same war. You don't think I was trained to deal with 20-year-long wars? That's all I know. And we will take you down to our level in the trenches, and we will drag you through the mud, and we will bury you there. And if you don't believe me, watch the previous episodes. That's what we do here. We win our wars. If you come at us, you will lose. And it doesn't matter who it is. Government finance, the Department of Finance for the American government was trying to take us out over $17. We got $18 billion that we know about just from Minnesota fraud going on right now that they don't seem to give two shits about. And they were getting ready to try to throw the book at one guy over $17.82. The entire government Department of Finance. And we took them down to the trench, to the LPDS trench, and we dragged them around by their hair. And when they tried to crawl away, we grabbed them by their ankles, and we beat them to within an inch of their lives until they raised the white flag before their last heartbeat beat its last beat. And that doesn't even make sense, and you know what I'm talking about. Don't come at the LPDS. We will beat you every time, and you will regret it for the rest of your lives. And if you want to continue doubting the LPDS, go right ahead. Because, like I said before, that's all I know how to do. I need that. At this point, I need doubt and hate to continue to thrive and to continue to win. So go ahead, keep doubting. But I can do this forever. The LPDS can do this forever. Look at Apollo Creed in Rocky 1 and then again in Rocky 2. Nobody ever took that guy the distance. He never trained for distance fighting. And they underestimated that stumpy bum of a greaseball from Philly, thinking again, it's going to be another quick round, a quick match, quick fight, no big deal. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm more established, I have the backing of America behind me. And this guy is a little runt who can barely even beat up Spider Rico. And what happened? He got beat, and he got beat, and he got beat, round in, round out. That stumpy greaseball Rocky kept getting back up. And he kept getting back up again. And he kept getting back up again. And before you know it, Apollo Creed looks over in the second to last round, and you can see his soul disappearing from his body. Gone. Carl Weathers, you got to give the guy credit for his acting portrayal. You can see the soul of that character leaving his body when he has his hands raised like he thinks he finally knocked out Rocky, and he turns around and he sees that he got up, and Rocky's going like this, come on, again. And he's just gone. He was a shell of a man. He was just a human meat vessel with no soul. It was gone. That's what we do here at the LPDS. That's what we were born into. Remember what we grew up on. Rocky. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Apollo Creed. Sylvester Stallone. All that stuff. Terminator. We grew up on that. I grew up trying to be like Rocky. We were born into it. Other podcasts out there were watching cartoons all the time. Any chance they got, it was just cartoons only. Mickey Mouse, Bugs, Elmer and Daffy and the gang having a good old time. Now it's Bluey and Pee-Pee Pig and all the other crap that's out there. We were watching Rocky. I was drinking breast milk as a toddler watching Rocky. My first step was a push-up to try to be big like Rocky. My brother Sticks and I would grow up. Our playtime was two things. It was World War II reenactments, trench warfare, and World War I, World War II reenactments of war, and fighting each other Rocky style. That's all I know. That's what we do here. That's what we were born to do. I don't know anything else. I'm not a smart man. I'm not a Renaissance man. Like I said, I'm not born to be president or anything like that. I'm born to win wars and to take your soul. No matter who you are or how big you are or how scary and dangerous you are, if you try to wrong us here, it's over for you. It is over for you. Because this is all we know. This is all we know. We've been doing it forever. And we're going to continue doing it. Because we're the best at it. And if you think I'm wrong, take a look at this trophy we have here, this soul we have here for $17.82 that we snatched away, dragged it out of them, beat it out of them with shovels, scratched their eyes out, and buried them in the trenches from the defense finance team of the United States government. A government who has been bullying us for years and years and years. They take out presidents, they take out whistleblowers, they take out anybody in their path, but not the LPDS. We win at no matter what. And for those of you who supported this fight and knew the truth and you knew the outcome that was going to happen, I thank you for that. I love the support. Thank you for doing that. I'm glad to see that there are people out there that know what we're about and believe in us and never doubt us. Because without you, oh, well, I have a lot of doubters then. Without you, you'd be doubters, and then I'd have to take you down too. So for anybody out there that actually supported and knew that we were going to win, thank you for that. I was very excited to share this news with a couple of the brothers, Creature, Wet Cat, during Sticks time. It was just a nice victory. It was a load off the shoulders. You know, sometimes the trenches do get lonely and frustrating, and there's points in the trench life where you don't know if things are going to work out for you. And we're definitely in that time right now. I've talked about this in the past. You know, you look back at your life and you look back at the tough times, you're like, man, those were some crazy memories we had. And you never got you never took the chance in the moment to appreciate that. We're in that time now. Here with the LPDS and Spearhead, we're hard in these trenches of the unknown. And sometimes it feels like on the day-to-day that like this is just a struggle. There's no end in sight. It sucks. It's lonely. It's frustrating. But little victories like this and getting to share it with the LPDS universe, with you guys and the brotherhood, it felt nice. It gave me the little bump that I needed to keep plowing through and just building stronger trenches for the future of Spearhead and LPDS and all that stuff. So, and I don't care if it was only $17. That the amount of money never mattered. It was the principle of the matter that meant everything. And we won. And we won. So thank you for the support. Thank you to the doubters. Thank you to the doubters, because you also make the victory sweet. Because my brain does not function in a mature way. A mature, enlightened, higher moral high ground kind of way. I still get a lot of joy in silencing the doubters. It was born into me. I can't help it. I can't change that. I try, can't change it. It's all I know what to do. Silence the doubters, and that's what keeps me going. So thank you to the doubters too. And that's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, and being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something every day to improve your fitness, health, and wellness, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Whether it's a physical workout at the gym or at home, or it's a mental workout, taking on a new hobby, learning a language, reading a book, whatever, or the emotional side, praying, breath work, yoga, meditation, what have you. Do something every day to exercise. Number two, the hardest one to do, and one that will not work on my silence the doubters circuitry in my brain, no matter how hard I try. Don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be negative and take unlawful jab at somebody, even if they deserve it, take a deep breath, take the LPDS step back, and just remove yourself from those situations. That way you're minimizing the negativity going on in your world and the world around you, and you're allowing yourself the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things like exercising every day. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. You can do this by thinking about just one good thing each day and start doing it a little bit more each and every day, more things. But one good thing or something good that happened to you in the last 24 hours, and think about what your life would be like without that thing. And that'll immediately put you in a state of gratitude and give you that sort of levity, if you will. And the more you're in a state of gratitude, the easier it's going to be for you to not be a shitty, negative person, to be a kind person, which will in turn give you more capacity, more time to go focus on more positive, productive things like exercising every day. And if you do all these 3 things a little bit each and every day, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, being able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. There's going to be some Spearhead Leadership Podcast guest spots coming out soon that I was a guest on other people's shows. I just did another one recently, so stay tuned. You'll hear more about that if you're interested in that sort of stuff. I like to, I want to give a plug out to Spearhead. If you're looking for that, I'll post those somewhere when the episodes come out. But those were fun conversations, so stay tuned for that. But don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and put your notifications on. Get excited for the sports streams that are going to be coming out, in a few months here, hopefully. And call that hotline, 202-670-1114. I love the hotline calls. I miss them. So anytime, I know it's tough for everybody to call in every single week. I get it. I'm not mad at you for it, but I'm always going to remind everybody that hotline is still there for everybody to use as they will. So 202-670-1114. Call that hotline up, please. Tell everybody, give everybody else that number. Let them call in, let them text it in, whatever you got to do. Questions, comments, terrible comedy bits, good comedy bits, impressions, whatever you want. 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.